Machines are no longer only answering questions. They are beginning to transact. An agent can now hold value, carry an identity, retain memory, and pay without a human in the loop. When software can do that, it stops being a tool. It becomes an economic actor. And an economic actor needs an environment to act in, somewhere to run, somewhere to be known, somewhere to spend. That environment is being built right now. The question is, who is building it and who will own it? Trace the progression. First, the machine stack began to form. Then, agents were given wallets. Then, they began to pay. Each layer resolved a question and revealed the next one. The next question is the most important. If machines can think, hold assets, and spend, who controls the rails they depend on? Consider what those rails are. Compute is the body, where the agent runs. Memory is the past, what it remembers. Identity is the passport, who it is allowed to be. Payments are the bloodstream, how value moves through it. Settlement is the ground, where value finally rests. Whoever owns these layers does not own a product. They own the environment the agents live in. Observe where that ownership is forming. On the operating layer, Amazon's Agent Core platform became generally available in late 2025. It provides agents with runtime, memory, identity, and tool access, bound to the cloud, the corporate directory, and the private network. It supports open frameworks, but the control, the logging, the billing, the security, stays inside the platform. This is not a feature. It is an operating system for agents. On the payment layer, two standards now move machine money over the open web. Coinbase's X402 protocol revived a dormant status code, HTTP 402, and turned it into a money layer. It has processed over 100 million transactions. Stripe's machine payments protocol brought the same idea into a global merchant network. Both are open standards. Both are anchored in heavily centralized infrastructure. On the settlement layer, one asset is becoming the default, the dollar stablecoin, USDC. And at the edge, Cloudflare, which helps route much of the web, co-founded the protocol's foundation and began building payment gates into the network itself, a toll booth placed where the traffic already flows. Now weigh the two directions this can go. On one side, concentration. The same few companies that already own cloud, payments, and the edge are assembling the agent stack. Over 90% of frontier models in 2025 came from industry. AI infrastructure spending reached roughly $90 billion in a single quarter, heading toward $1 trillion a year. That is gravity. Scale pulls control toward the center. There is a pattern here, and it is not new. The companies that owned the personal computer's operating system went on to shape the software above it. The companies that owned the mobile platform set the terms for every app inside it. The companies that owned search came to shape what 1 billion people see. Each shift produced a new layer, and each time, the owners of the old layer were positioned to own the new one. Railroads gave way to highways, highways to the internet to mobile. And now, the platform forming beneath AI agents follows the same logic. When a new layer appears, the incumbents do not race to it. They already stand on top of it. On the other side, openness. The payment standards are open. Settlement happens on public chains, where anyone can build a compatible system. Decentralized networks, BitTensor, the DePIN ecosystems, open agent frameworks, offer an alternative where participation needs no permission. The standards are open. The infrastructure beneath them is not yet decided. This is the tension. An open protocol can still run on closed rails. A permissionless standard can still settle through a permissioned door. The question is not whether the standards are open. It is who controls the layers the standards depend on. So the question is not whether the machine economy is coming. It is already here. The question is whether it forms open or closed. Whether the agents of the next decade run on rails anyone can use, or rails a few companies own, consider what is at stake in that answer. If the layers are owned, then every agent that runs, remembers, identifies, and pays does so by permission. The body breathes on rented air. The bloodstream flows through someone else's veins. An economy of millions of autonomous actors, each one dependent, at every layer, on a landlord it did not choose. That is the shape the current architecture is pointing toward. What can be observed is this. Control is forming layer by layer across cloud providers, payment networks, and settlement systems. No single company holds all of it. Not yet. The next platform war is not for users. It is for AI agents. The machine economy is forming, but intelligence was never the final layer. Control was. Observation continues.